All right. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? I hope well. Getting all my live setup rolling. So I got the coffee brewed. Get ready to chat a little health and wellness with you all this morning. Throw in the chat if you're inclined. Where are you joining from? Are you with me around here in Madison or coming from somewhere else? I tell you, if you're around town here today or this weekend, was it gorgeous yesterday here or what? If you're in the Midwest, the colors, it's been so good. Last weekend I was up in northern Wisconsin, ran a half marathon, and just peak fall colors up north was so beautiful. Well, I thought I'd start the stream today. Hey, P. Brown, great to see you. How do I feel about pumpkin spice coffee? No sugar or syrup, of course. Yeah, that's the key. Um, if it's like natural flavoring, if you look into like different natural flavoring, it can be all kinds of stuff, actually, but probably not unhealthy. So as long as someone's having, flavor, I don't really care about any flavor in coffee, hazelnut or like whatever sort of thing you like. I think that's good. Keep the sugar out, especially if it's a lot of milk and cream and stuff. Then that's not, pure fasting. Not the worst. I'm much more of a pragmatist um, than a Puritan, and so make my own from dried spices. Sounds fantastic. I bet it's fantastic. I thought I'd start out with a little gratitude moment as I'm learning how to use this system. So I think I can, if I share my screen, I'm going to see if I can show you something. I was perusing the social media platform formerly known as Twitter the other day, and this came up from Scottie Pippen. Do you remember Scottie Pippen? I was like, whoa, it's a blast from the past. Share the screen, and I want my window with Scottie Pippen. Here it is. There we go. Scottie Pippen, as you get older, you realize a $30,000 watch and a $30 watch both sell at the same time. A Gucci wallet and a Target wallet hold the same amount of money. $10 million house and a $100,000 house host the same loneliness. Ouch. A Ford will drive you as far as a Bentley. True happiness is not found in materialistic things. It comes from the love and laughter found with each other. Stay humble. The holes dug for us in the ground are all the same size. Boy, I read that, and that was it makes you think, right? And so I didn't expect that from Scottie Pippen. The last I heard of that guy was I don't know, him and Jordan running around, and now he's a philosopher apparently. So but yeah, gratitude I think is a practice, something I personally just strive to lean into. These days, I don't know about y'all. I've tried to take a hiatus from watching much news or tuning into any of this, uh, politics and everything that's going on, and can be so stressful, can be so discouraging sometimes. Say, let's focus on gratitude. What are the things that really matter in life? And certainly, I agree with this. It's not things; it's relationships and I hope that we can build that here, around health and wellness practice, family, friends, and then next on the list, I'd put health on that. And so, of course, that's uh, that's a great interest of mine. How do we help people be as healthy as possible? And fasting is the track that I've taken toward, you know, at least professionally, that I'm spending my time trying to help people with. Sometimes, I've had different discussions with people. What are the most important health practices? And some people say, well, is it healthy eating? is it is it exercise? Is fasting? I'm like, it's all good. It's not like a race or a competition or anything. Fasting I've seen help so many people, and at least fasting as a health practice, I say it's at least the most neglected in our society. Lots of people know that they should exercise, and everybody kind of knows on an intuitive level, well, it would be good to eat healthy food. Not so many people know of the health benefits of fasting, and including me when I started my medical practice. I didn't have a second's worth of instruction that this is something that could be used therapeutically to help people, and just stumbled onto it one day, and thank God for that. And it's been so interesting. I think it is the first video that I did on this channel. Oh, can I get back to me on here? How do I get rid of Scotty Pippen now? What if I? There we go. I think it's the first video on the channel. I told the story of how I uh, came to see the healing potential of fasting. Won't rehash the whole thing here because it took like 8 minutes to spit it out. But patient had to get a colonoscopy. They had to be fasting, and this is something we see all the time in medicine. People have to fast. This person had super high blood sugar, and then you just see it. Oh man, they're fasting, and the blood sugar goes down. Had to get rid of the insulin they were taking, and oh yeah, and it's just such a serendipitous twist because then the next patient that came in was this woman who practiced fasting all the time as part of her spiritual tradition, and she just kind of mentioned it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting, and she started telling me about it. And then I told this guy, I was like, you fasted for your colonoscopy, your blood sugar went so low. Like this person does it every week. What if you just made a routine of it? He's like, I'll try it. Helped the guy out so much. I was like, this is wild. Like, I don't know if I've ever helped somebody so much, at least with type 2 diabetes. Well, one of the thoughts that I have today that I was going to think about, I was reading a quote, said, our thoughts shape our reality. This is something I've been thinking about. Um, do you think that's true? Do our thoughts shape reality? I think it is. We make decisions, and then so many times can become our habits, and then they just become part of the way we see things. We don't even think of them as things that we have control over. Almost everything that is taking place in our life, it comes ultimately from a thought that we're having about something. We think about something, changes our actions, changes what we do. When we're thinking about health, then, especially about how do we move in a new direction, this would be something that I really want to help people do on the channel. How do we move in a healthier direction? I think these days, heading into the fall already, I see people getting ready for a holiday season and think New Year's. And I've never been super into New Year's as far as like New Year's resolutions because I'm like, if you have like a good idea, like, oh, I think I have something healthy I want to do, like, this is October, like, you could just do it now. But on the other hand, I do like it because, as a convention, it's like it lets you plan for something, look forward to something. Okay, New Year's, I'm really going to hit it. It can be good to mentally prepare, psych yourself up for something. And so I see both sides of it. But how we think about things really can affect ultimately, whether we're successful or not. If we're thinking positively about something, much more likely that we're going to, manifest it, make it happen. If we're thinking all kinds of negative thoughts, like, I'm no good, I've tried and failed at this, I can never make it happen, much less likely. So I'm a big believer in the power of positive thinking. So we think about all of our health goals, whether it's a dietary thing, trying to dial in on healthier eating, or some other thing, starting a new exercise program, something else. I think it's a really good habit. Monitor the thoughts, actually. A couple of the videos I put out on this channel have kind of, we dive into how do you journal. And one sort of journaling practice would be just write down what kind of thoughts am I telling myself about all this, and then think a new thought. That's what I'd say. All right, a few people on the chat. I'd be curious if you want to chat in the comments. Like, where's everybody from? Are you from Madison, or are you somewhere else? I'd be happy to hear it. And then if someone else already heard from P Brown, he's got homemade pumpkin spice coffee. Sounds incredible. What's everyone else? What's your morning beverage of choice? Are you a coffee, or are you tea, or are you in either? If you are Maryland, very cool. Welcome. If you're tuning into this later, also, we can have a chat in the comments. So feel free, as we're all here, maybe temporarily displaced, but throw in the comments where you're joining us from, and morning beverage of choice. I'd be happy to chat about it. Think a new thought. That is where I was going with this whole thought shaping our reality sort of thing. What is a health goal? What is something that maybe you want to accomplish as we think heading into next year? Can you set yourself up during this fall for a uh, a, a win in 2025? That's going to be hard to flip the calendar. 25. I've been thinking a lot about type 2 diabetes. So, first year on the channel here, Simple Fasting, I've been focused, making some fasting based weight loss content. I want to dive deeper into a focus on some blood sugar, especially into next year. Type 2 diabetes. Okay, I gave a talk last year, and the talk was about the research that I did last year. If you haven't seen that, check out that video. I did eliminate insulin with fasting. That was this interesting grant that I got, and I got to do this great study at UW. The data that I was reviewing, maybe maybe on a future one of these, I'll have it set up. It looks like I could bring in some slides, or I don't know, pictures and stuff. The data, though, for the US is that by age 65, it's almost 50% of the adult population pre-diabetic, and then 30% type 2 diabetes. So when you bring together the type 2 diabetes and the pre-diabetes in the over 65, it's almost 80%. It's like 77% of the population. And so this is so wild to think about. I found some historical literature on it. I was digging in the medical archives, and I found a paper in a diabetes journal from 1964. It was a survey of diabetes in 1964. And the data for the US was that it was 1% of the adult population, which they're defining there 20 and up, was diabetic, and then half of that was type 1. And so the population rates of type 1 have been about the same. So it's about one half of 1% of adults in 1964 uh, had diabetes, and here we're up, or type 2 diabetes, and here we're up to over 10% of our total adult population. So this is such a huge issue, and whether someone has prediabetes, someone has type 2 diabetes, or it's kind of like the rest of us, we're all trying not to not to get it. So this is kind of the thought that I've been thinking. I, I put a little branding for simple fasting: prevent and heal type 2 diabetes. So I was telling you at the beginning of the stream about the first time I saw fasting help, a person that was with type 2 diabetes. They're fasting, and then we see, oh, we actually see this all the time, people's blood sugar going down during periods of fasting. And then, people have to fast for medical procedures, and we're often scaling back their diabetes medicines while they're fasting. So every doctor basically does that, especially with insulin. And so, like, there's kind of this sub knowledge out there, like, oh, people intuitively get, well, fasting helps blood sugar, help a lot of things, actually. So that, what year was that? Maybe 2016? Every year I've just leaned into it more and more, helping people open up some food-free space, allow the body access to this energy that's inside us. Here's a thought that I've been thinking. Yeah, this is what where I'm trying to tie all this together. I wrote out a little outline. It was like, all right, we have our thought is shaping our reality. We have this reality in our country where we're either all diabetic or trying not to become diabetic. And we need to think a new thought. And so the new thought that I have about it is, okay, what really is type 2 diabetes? Like, what is happening? Okay, let's break it down. So people get, right, that the blood sugar's too high. It's like, what actually is this blood sugar? Like, we have an idea, like the disease is just the sugar, but then it's like much deeper than that. People can let me know if they want in the comments. We can go into like real sciencey stuff of insulin resistance. But like on a big abstract kind of big concept level, it's like your last meal, right? This is really what's the case. You eat a meal. If you're someone who has a glucose monitor, and you put on a CGM, and you're watching your sugar, you'll see it, right? You eat a meal, you'll see the blood sugar go up, and you watch it in over 2 hours, and you'll see it go back down. That's normal physiology. Anyone without diabetes could do that. You'll see the same sort of thing, just in a lower level. So that blood sugar, that is the last meal that we ate. Now, if we have type 2 diabetes, maybe it doesn't come down as fast as it should. It stays elevated. So if that sugar is floating around, that's food. That's the energy. That's the meal. It's a resource. This is the thing that I've come to see. Like, okay, why do we eat to begin with? Obviously, to get energy, to power the body. We want to put energy into the system. And so type 2 diabetes, it's a different type of disease than I think that we have thought of it. It is energy, and this is where fasting can really tie in to this whole process. Okay, so we haven't appreciated, okay, fasting hasn't really been part of our culture, but you open up a space, say, what is fasting? It's nothing. It's a period of open space that we can apply to our life. Well, in this specific instance where our blood sugar is too high, what happens when we apply that space? The body needs to run energy. Okay, this is a machine. It's running. And if that sugar is right there, we can just run off that energy. Say, what, like, why eat the next meal when that last meal is still floating around there? You can just burn it off. This is a very interesting thought as far as a pathway to approach this. In a big picture for our society. Anyway, that's my thought of the day. Can we develop a resource mindset for type 2 diabetes that by by taking this sort of mindset, think differently? The classic type 2 diabetes mindset is medication. When, like, take insulin, for example. You take insulin, it lowers the blood sugar. Everybody gets that. But how does it do it? It lowers the blood sugar by jamming it inside of fat cells. That's why it causes so much weight gain. So if we took a different mindset, realize its energy, develop habits that help us use it, then we can reverse it. That's what I've seen. That's what I'd like to help people do. Yes, I need a win in 2025, don't we all? 50 pounds overweight for about 10 years, unsuccessful diet attempts. Recently, lots done, huge. Oh, got labs done. Huge change in A1C. Time to change. Well, so happy to have you here. Let us know how things go. Uh, have grace with yourself. Take a thoughtful mindset. I always say that's like the way to start. But I also like the other side of that I've been thinking about too is like it's okay to have an aggressive mindset. Like I always try to balance these sort of things. People can become overwhelmed by a dietary change, a lifestyle change. Very hard to change. Most people, in fact, don't change. People make a change and then they revert back, you know? So it's like to really change our habits is like changing our life. It's a big ask. And so the experiences that I've had with people where things are sustainable, people very thoughtful, people dedicated, people not stressed out, is people you find kind of a flow state, you know, where you're finding that balance where you're taking positive action, moving forward, and without being stressed out about it. And then so you got to start there, but from there, can you build it? Yes. Can you increase the intensity of all kinds of practices? Exercise, healthy eating, fasting. These are the core things. Fasting, of course, you can amp up the intensity pretty good. People do hard things. This is the other side of it. So people do things that are difficult all the time, actually. And, if you're watching, you're a human being, you have a human spirit, and there's strength and power that we all have to do things that are difficult. And so I've been thinking about that. Like, I tend to always focus on like, hey, the take it easy sort of side. And that's especially good to start. It's especially good if what you're doing is working and everything is great. Uh, the other side of it is like if you need more power, if you really need it, sometimes, um, you know, don't we all need like a little push to like really motivate us? So that's the other thing I think about. Like, it's all right if something is tough and dive in and do it. Okay, I sent out an email. A couple people emailed me. I have to see. I have some ability to bring in guests onto this, and we have to see if I can work this. It would be fun. Anybody who's watching, if it happens to work out, if you want to come on, even now, let's see if I can make it work. Shoot me an email. I'm looking at it. To let me see if I can put it on screen. add. Now, can I? Oh, there it goes. Look at that. Dr. Z at simplefasting.com. Shoot an email. Maybe it's late to put it in now, but even for next week, I come back next week. Same fasting time, same fasting channel. You want to have a little chat next week? Shoot me a note. I'll give you a link, and either I'll get it working now, or I'll get it working next week. I'll get it working at some point. And gone. There we go. If you're ever wanting to get in touch, you just go simplefasting.com and you can send me a note from there. Here, I'll show you how to do it quick. Anybody who's watching. We'll go over simplefasting.com. Here we are, and up here, contact up in the corner. You can always drop me a note right through there. Well, somehow I have a section in here where I can get to people. I don't know if people are waiting or not. Hey, if you are waiting, because I sent out these links to a few people, put it in the chat if you are actually like waiting. I hate to leave you hanging there. But I don't know how to get to it. I will learn by next week. Presumably, I can't see it just because there's nobody there presently. That's my guess. But in some future section, I think it'll be fun. I think I was saying at the beginning, I read the little Scottie Pippen quote, thinking about, all right, the connections that really, what life is really about. Our family, friends, health, community. That's what I would really envision being great to kind of tie this whole thing together. We've got health situations. All of us have health situations. All of us, we want to make the best choices we can, bring health to ourselves and our family. Want to gear up to make 2025 our healthiest year ever. And can we build some community, like in general? Okay, and then I was talking, things are difficult. Things can be difficult. It's okay if things are difficult. We can do difficult things. Difficult things to do, like turning around our health, striving after health and wellness. These things can be much easier when we do it together. I was reading a quote the other day. It was about like, if you're doing something difficult, like it'll seem more difficult if you're trying to do it alone. But if like, it was someone talking about why they like working out at a gym as opposed to by themselves. They're like, when I'm at the gym and there's other people there, someone's shouting at me saying, do it. Like, they're like, I always do more than if I'm just, sitting in my basement. So I like that idea. Build a community that can support people. If you have great ideas or thoughts about how you'd like to do that, let me know. Everybody, thank you to everybody who's been tuned in with me during the stream here. Shoot me an email with any feedback if you would like. I'd be very happy to have a chat about it if you have some good ideas, or if they're like, what would you like it to be? If there's specific topics or questions you'd like me to address, always put them in. You can put them in comments after this video is done and send me an email and come back next week. We'll do the same sort of thing. And yeah, you want to come on the show? I'll figure it out, hopefully by next week. And we'll take it from there. So I think I'll leave it at that. I'll respect your time here too. And I hope you have a great Sunday, great day whenever you're tuning in. If you're watching this on the replay, have a great week, and I will see you later.